Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and I'm hoping the best for you in the coming new year. Friday, a week ago, after the Rams game, I woke up that morning and turned on the TV, and I was listening to Matt Moscona's latest rant, where he's talking about the possibility of the Saints losing the final two games this season to Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Well, while I was listening to him, something started happening to me. You know, that little spiral vortex thingy that spins when the Twilight Zone is coming on? Well, I felt like I had fallen into that vortex and was transported back in time 21 years to 2002. That year, the Saints had a bye in the middle of the season. 8 games gone, 8 games to play. In the 8 games that they had already played that season, the Saints were 6-2. After the bye, the 8 games left, they went 3-5. And by the last win on December 8th, they were in position to get the last wild card in the NFC. All they had to do was win one of the last 3 games. The reason it's significant is because that year, with the last 3 games, we find ourselves in a similar position with the last 2 games this season of having to win out this season to even have a chance to sniff the playoffs. Wasn't that way in the 2002 season. All they had to do was win one of the last 3 games to secure that last wild card spot. Those last 3 games were against Minnesota, who finished the year 6-10, Cincinnati, who finished the year 2-14, and the Carolina Panthers, who finished the season at 7-9. On 12/15, the Saints were to play the Minnesota Vikings. The Saints lost that game by 1 point, 32-31. Okay, so Saints Nation didn't get the win that day. There's always next week. Next week, we played the Cincinnati Bengals, who I do believe had been on a 1-18 drought. We gave Cincinnati one of their 2 wins that year by a score of 20-13. The last game. Well, surely we're going to win the last game, even though it was going to be a little tougher. I mean, Carolina was leagues better than Cincinnati, and maybe marginally better than Minnesota. The Carolina game ended with the Saints losing by a score of 10-6. Sort of like the score they lost to Carolina by the last game of last season. That score was 10-7. 2002, the Saints were out of the playoffs because they could not manage to win one of 3 games against losing teams. Now we got Tampa Bay tomorrow. I don't hold out much hope. When you look at the statistics, there are obvious categories in which the Saints are better than the Bucs. I don't think that makes a whole lot of difference. Statistically, the Saints were also better than Green Bay. They were better than Houston, statistically, taken overall. But we lost both those games, didn't we? Tampa Bay's been playing real tough as of late. The teams that we lost to, Green Bay, the Vikings, Jacksonville. Tampa beat all those teams. And now we have to go to Tampa to make a stab at trying to even be eligible for the playoffs. But they're going to need a lot of help from other teams. And you know how that usually works out. Personally, I don't think the Saints are going to beat the Bucs tomorrow. If you look at this team, the way they've been playing, especially lately, especially on defense, they're mailing it in. They're mailing it in. On offense? What offense? We just out there playing sandlot football and hoping something good happens. Personally, I'd rather see the Saints lose out and have no chance at all for the playoffs, because I would be seriously embarrassed if they made the playoffs and then got blown out by Dallas. Dallas! I live up here in North Louisiana. This place that's blanketed with Cowboys fans. Saints make the playoffs, play the Cowboys, and lose big. I'm not going to be able to show my face around here without fighting. And I'm 63 years old. I'm too old for that mess. Anyway, Saints need to lose out to save Saints Nation some embarrassment. That's all I got for you today, people. Please leave me a like. Who dat?